When I was in college, there was a terrifying legend on campus that on the 15th of every month, you must never approach the stone bridge in the village near the campus, because you are likely to see something unclean. In 2016, I had just turned 18 and was a freshman at a university in Jiangsu. The location of the school was relatively deviated. The urban area was far away, and most of the surrounding villages were slum villages. However, at that time, it was catching up with the urbanization construction, and almost all the surrounding villages were demolished, so there were fewer and fewer people near our school. However, a small number of people still continued to live in the village. It is worth mentioning that there is an ancient city bridge in the village. Although the village was demolished, the bridge was preserved intact because it was a key cultural relic. Since I was introverted and withdrawn from childhood, I was used to being alone during college. In the first month of school, everything went smoothly, but by the third month, some strange things began to happen. These experiences still leave me puzzled and often make me shudder. One weekend, I reluctantly accepted the invitation of my roommate and went to a wine party with them. The venue was a restaurant near the village. To be honest, the restaurant was still good. But what annoyed me was that the way back to school was not convenient, because I had to go through the village that had been moved. Otherwise, I would have to bypass a large forest. At the dinner table, the roommates raised their glasses and talked one by one. Some said that they would start a business and be the boss in the future, while others wanted to go abroad for further study. However, these big words did not appeal to me, and all I could think was that I had had enough. So I simply stood up and said goodbye to them, and left the wine table decisively, because I really didn't want to waste my time on this meaningless social situation. As soon as I walked to the door of the restaurant, I happened to meet a senior who was 2 levels higher than me. He was the first person I met at school, because he was the one who helped me carry the luggage on the day the freshmen reported for duty. The students around me liked to call him Big Smelly Senior. I remember thinking that this nickname was quite funny at the time. After he saw me, he started chatting with me. "What a coincidence. You are also eating here." "Ha, senior. What a coincidence. It is today that our roommates are having dinner here. What are you going to do so late?" I'm going back to school. What, today is the 15th. As soon as Big Smelly Senior's voice fell, I once again thought of the long-standing horror legend on campus. But at this moment, there was only one thought in my mind. That is, to go back to school quickly. No matter what Big Smelly Senior tried to persuade me, I still decided to go my own way and return to school through that village alone. He saw that I was so stubborn, so he didn't say anything more. In the end, he could only helplessly decide to accompany me back to school. It was just an ordinary village. Where did so many evil things come from? I whined and quickened my pace. "Why don't you ask the instructor for a leave? You are persuading me." But I don't want to listen. I just want to cross the village as soon as possible. It didn't take long for us to walk near the village. At this time, the surroundings were plunged into darkness. The sky was dull, and the surrounding houses were already uninhabited due to the demolition. We continued along the path, and although the scene in front of me was blurry, I could still vaguely make out that the stone bridge in the center of the village was not far from us. Sure enough, after walking for a while, the stone bridge appeared in front of us. The bridge is not long. It can be walked over in half a minute at most. But tonight the bridge is shrouded in a layer of thick fog, which looks particularly strange. After hesitating for a while, I finally walked up. Just after taking 2 steps, we suddenly stopped and froze in place because, in the depths of the thick fog, a vague white figure vaguely appeared, and the smelly senior asked me in a low voice, "What was that?" At that time, I was still wondering in my heart, could this person also be a companion? But I immediately gave up this idea, because it is impossible for a normal person to show that pure white and translucent state. Just when we all felt the difference, the white figure suddenly made a move that shocked us all. He jumped off the stone bridge, and you must know that there is a bottomless river under the bridge. As usual, if someone falls, the water surface will definitely splash with a large splash. But the creepy thing is that at this time, the river surface is so quiet that there is not even a trace of ripple. We were really frightened at the time, and the smelly senior grabbed my clothes and started running without saying a word, running all the way back to the restaurant without looking back. That night I listened to the arrangement of the big smelly senior, and the guide asked for leave and spent the night outside. Later I learned from the classmates in the big smelly senior's dormitory. After that encounter, the big smelly senior had a nightmare for a week, and it seemed that there was always a white figure watching him silently at the bridge. Every time he woke up from the nightmare late at night, he would sweat profusely and could not calm down for a long time. And what was that stone bridge? That white figure? I still haven't been able to find the answer. Maybe this will become a mystery in our hearts that will never be solved.